England fans would like to hear from you this morning. How's the performance against Andorra? Already put question marks against Thomas Tuchel. Too early for that, really, isn't it, yet? Dan is a Leeds fan. He's given us a call. Morning, Dan.
Morning, guys. It's not too early, Jeff. It's not too early. Absolutely ridiculous. What a joke. Stuart Pearce, Paul Gascoigne, Frank Lampard, David Beckham. Bring them back, right? That was England. This is boring, right? And I'm so glad it doesn't take over Monday nights, because if that took over Coronation Street, I'd be annoyed. Because I'd rather watch that, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're talking Premier League footballers. We're talking like one of the best leagues in the world, and they perform like that. I mean, no disrespect to Andorra, but we've put 5 past them before. Let's see how these turn up, right? And I'm not being racist or anything like that. Let's see when we play Germany in the World Cup. Let's see what team he puts out against them. Because I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if you don't agree with me, bring in Eddie Howe all day. I'm sorry. I think it's the wrong person to bring in.
Fair enough.
I just don't think he's got his heart in it, Jeff.
Look, Dan, maybe a bit knee-jerk. I think maybe you've got to give him a bit more than 3 games.
Well, there is that. Maybe more than 3 games, but like I said before, no disrespect, but we should be smashing 3 or 4 or 5 past these. And when we play Spain and Portugal and like they proved last night, we're just going to flop. And when it comes to World Cup, and people can turn around and say we won at favourites and that, no, what a joke! No way.
Dan, thank you very much indeed. Enjoy Corrie tonight.
Mate, cheers.
Cheers.
More reaction to this with sports writer, co-host of the Sunday edition, Henry Winter. Morning, Henry.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Stuart.
Morning, Henry.
Henry, did it all start to go wrong from the team selection onwards?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. You look at, there was an imbalance there. You have a very good right back, Reece James, playing at left back. You've got a very good midfielder in Curtis Jones playing at right back. I know he has played there before and he's versatile, but when you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold on the bench, you think you might sort of use him. I'm not sure the 2 number 10s, when you've got a player of Bellingham's quality, build around Bellingham. And if that means having to move Cole Palmer to the right in Bukayo Saka's absence, then do that. I thought Palmer finished the season very strongly with Chelsea, particularly in the final, the Conference League final, so drifting in off the right. Morgan Rogers, as Aston Villa fans will tell you, is better driving through the middle with the ball rather than out wide. Look, he's versatile. He can play that. So I thought there were certain things that Tuchel got wrong, but I quite liked it when I was there with Stuart, listening to Stuart's reaction. I think it was quite good to hear the manager call out the players. He didn't personalise it. He didn't name them individually. He just said collectively we've got to do better. And that's fairly damning to say they weren't taking it seriously enough.
I think he said a couple of things. He talked about Declan Rice as well, Henry, didn't he? And said he wasn't in sync or something like that during the week. That's why he didn't pick him. Something of that nature, which was quite a strange thing to say. And I'm not sure we picked up on it and expanded well enough on what he meant by that.
It's a good point, and I think he's got to decide whether Declan Rice is a 6 or an 8. We've seen increasingly with Arsenal how he can bomb forward and get goals, get into the box. He's not Lampard, but they're echoes of that. And then you've got to find a 6 behind him. And who is that going to be? That's been a long-term problem for England, finding that 6. We probably haven't really had one who is natural for that role since Paul Ince. Or Owen Hargreaves, sorry.
Again, people will look at it, and it was my impression anyway that it was the same old. It was all desperately slow. No real idea of how to break down a packed defence.
Well, yeah, it's a fair point, and particularly if you look to the Nations League semi-finals and finals, the third place game over the weekend, and you saw young players unleashed out wide, playing with freedom, whether it's Nico Williams in the first half or whether it was Lamine Yamal, who's just been one of the sort of players of the season. Rafael Leao, who's slightly older, when he came on for Portugal late on, I thought he was terrific down the left. Desiree Doué was obviously seen with PSG and for France to an extent. So there are players and there are teams who are playing with the handbrake off. Maybe it's because England were playing against Andorra, as you say, 173rd in the world, and they weren't so inspired for it. You would hope they would be more inspired when they're playing against a team of such quality, of Spain, of France, Portugal.
Henry, I think the key for England going forward is trying to unlock the undoubted potential that some players have that haven't probably delivered performances in a national shirt well enough. And I'm going to name three players to you here. Cole Palmer, who's been magnificent last season and half of this year in the Premier League, Phil Foden and Jack Grealish. There's three players there that probably in a national shirt have not delivered what we're all hoping from them. And how do you do that with these players?
Just taking them quickly individually, Phil Foden's just played so many games. I mean, it is. I know your generation will probably roll your eyes a bit and say the players have got everything going for them, but it is amazing the amount of games that Phil Foden has played. So he is allowed a little bit of a sort of a dip, which he's had with Manchester City. I agree with you. Where do you play him? Do you play him off the right, or do you play him as a 10? England got loads of 10s. England are sort of almost congested in one position. Grealish can play fantastically for a 10. He showed that in Dublin. Will you play him off the left? I actually thought the one positive, and you rightly named two of the Andorran players. I thought Noni Madueke actually had a really good game coming off the left. Cole Palmer's just had that dip. First half of the season, he was fantastic. He was vying for Football of the Year honours, and then he's had that dip. Maybe it's slightly tactical with Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea playing sort of more through the middle. Maybe that's cramped his style a bit, or maybe he just needs to play in that best position, as Chelsea fans will tell you, drifting in off the right.
Do you think the performance has made the Senegal game a little more significant for Thomas Tuchel now, Henry?
We can't judge Tuchel until the sort of quarterfinals of the World Cup. We've got an outstanding
the public will, Henry.
coach.
The public will. They're not going to wait until the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
I don't think they'll go for Tuchel. I mean, just talking to England fans out here, I mean, you know what we're like. We're a bit fickle in the media. I think it would be harsh to, he's won a Champions League. He's an elite coach. It would be a bit early to start having a go at Tuchel. But yeah, I agree with you. Senegal is going to be a test. Full house at the City Ground, place Stuart knows well. You know what the atmosphere is going to be like there. I would like to see Morgan Gibbs-White given a go, because I just think that will get them, the fans up for it even more. Look, there will be criticism, particularly when we've seen the quality of other teams over the weekend.
Do you think in the long run that this performance against Andorra might serve the manager well? Because it sort of opened his eyes, and I saw the frustration that he had in the last 10, 15 minutes on the touchline with the lacklustre performance.
Yeah, well, Stuart, we said that with Steve McLaren in 2007 against Andorra. We said that with Fabio Capello in 2008 against Andorra when England didn't play. England went 0-0 at half-time in both games. Obviously, they then went and qualified with Capello for 2010. So, look, there is always that sort of concern playing the minnows. The frustration is that England have got a fantastic generation of players. It's just now to Tuchel, who is a terrific coach, just to get the best out of them. That's what the fans want. But I get the impression the fans are still completely behind Tuchel. I mean, they would probably rather have an Englishman, but if they couldn't get Eddie Howe, then Tuchel's the man. So I think, look, he's going to be given that support.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.